The markets are closed, but business stories are just heating up. Hello, I'm Robert Tan. Catch up with us on Business Brief. The Philippines' turn to host the Association of Southeast Asian Nations next year could offer the economy a lift after its weakened third quarter showing. Rosemary Edilion, Undersecretary at the Department of Economy and Planning, said the country's hosting of ASEAN in 2015 and APEC in 2016 fueled gains in transport, communications, hotels, restaurants, and exports of services, sectors closely tied to international travel. In October, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas cut its forecast for travel receipts this year to $9.4 billion, down from $10.7 billion, and now expects growth of 1% instead of 10%. For 2026, the BSP also downgraded its outlook to 3% growth, with travel receipts projected at $9.7 billion, compared with its earlier estimate of 11% growth and $11.9 billion in receipts. State auditors have reported that the Office of the Vice President acquired more than 76 million pesos in equipment, including CCTVs priced at over 212,000 pesos each, and noted an accounting error that mislabeled donated photocopiers as laptops. The Commission on Audit said the OVP overstated the value of donated photocopiers by 1.21 million pesos and flagged lapses in project evaluation, monitoring, and liquidation under its Magnegosyo Taday livelihood program. Meanwhile, Trade Secretary Cristina Roque is urging Filipino exporters to pursue new markets more aggressively. Roque issued the call as the Philippines prepares to sign a free trade agreement with the European Union and continues talks with the United States on tariff rates for key products. Speaking at National Exporters Week 2025, she pointed to ongoing trade negotiations with the EU, Chile, and the United Arab Emirates, and said major agricultural exports, including coconut, pineapple, and mangoes, will face zero tariffs in the U.S. Exporters gather for this year's National Exporters Week. Paolo Barcelon joins us live from Mandaluyong City for the details. Hi, Paolo. What can you tell us about this?
Robert, Philippine Exporters Confederation President Sergio Ortiz Luis said that this event highlights the best in Filipino exports as well as the strength of the Philippine export industry, and that the National Exporters Week aims to help those especially starting out in the export industry to ride industry headwinds.
As I've often emphasized, exports remain our best bet for sustained growth, and developing our exporters, especially our MSME, must be seen as an investment in national progress, not as an expense.
Ortiz Luis adds the summit will also focus on capacity building sessions to allow new export players to learn the ropes in the export industry. Ortiz Luis also said that there are new export products that the Philippines has to offer, such as web development and AI development. Trade Secretary Cristina Roque reiterated her support for the export industry, saying exporters move the Philippines forward.
Your innovation, creativity, resilience are the waves to carry our products, our culture, our identity to the markets across the world.
Just recently, the DTI announced that tariffs on some agricultural products to the U.S. have been lifted, and exporters have been collaborating with government to explore new markets outside of the United States, such as countries in Europe. Robert.
Thank you for that report, Paolo Barcelon. Meanwhile, the Commission on Audit has flagged the Office of the President for failing to collect 14.4 million pesos in long overdue reimbursements from government agencies for foreign trips taken between 2022 and 2024. COA said more than half of the unpaid amount has been outstanding for over 2 years, citing unclear cost-sharing arrangements and limited follow-up by the OP. Malacanang said the COA note does not point to irregularities, adding that 7.88 million pesos has already been collected. The palace said the OP regularly tracks outstanding payments through monthly aging reports and issues demanding letters, stressing that timely reimbursements are crucial for carrying out multi-agency foreign travel and broader operations. Congressman Antonio Tinio is calling for an ICI probe into alleged anomalies totaling 4.4 billion pesos in flood control projects in Davao's 1st Congressional District. Ian Maghanoy is on the line with more details.
Robert, Alliance of Concerned Teachers Representative Antonio Tinio is requesting an ICI investigation for the 4.4 billion peso worth of anomalous flood control projects within Davao 1st Congressional District. According to Tinio, the red flags were seen at Alon River and Matena River. Flood control projects where at least 80 contractors have allegedly secured 30 contracts from 2019 to 2022. Among those contractors that the congressman who wanted to be investigated are CLTG and Genesis 88, Abu Construction, and Relt Legacy Rocking. Tinio also said he is looking forward for Davao 1st District Congressman Pulong Duterte to answer the issue, which falls under his jurisdiction. Robert?
Thank you for that report, Ian Maghanoy. And we're taking a short break. Stick around, we've got more stories ahead. You're watching Business Brief. SM Investments Corporation has earned a silver ranking from the Asia Sustainability Reporting Rating for its 2024 report. This is the company's 4th recognition for excellence in sustainability disclosure. A pioneer in the Philippines, SM Investments adopted the International Financial Reporting Standards S1 and S2 sustainability framework, setting a high bar for corporate reporting. The ASRRAT, based in Indonesia, serves as a regional benchmark for transparency and environmental, social, and governance reporting. The Vice President and Head of Equities at Security Bank has said that the government agencies must work together to encourage more companies to go public. On BNC's Business 360, Basil Go of Security Bank said low liquidity, limited retail participation, and the lack of initial public offerings continue to weigh on the Philippine stock market. He added that stronger government action is needed to put the equities market back on track.
Basil, what does our government need to do right now? We've got a revamped economic team. What do we need to see from them within the first 90 days to get our market, our equities market, back on track?
Firstly, I think if you just look at these government agencies should work hand in hand to actually incentivize companies to go public. The issue with the Philippines is a lot of the big corporates are owned by family owned, so they don't want to list. No, they don't see the incentive to list. So I guess one way to do that is probably give them more incentive, like lowering the tax rates for listed companies. That could be one. Of course, another incentive would be less stringent regulation in the books. I mean, right now, there's a suspension in audits from the BIR, which is, I think, a positive direction. If that is a big source of corruption. So just being more lenient, that will help the markets.
For the past decade, the Philippine stock market has underperformed every major index in the world, a period when global markets hit record highs while the PSEI fell 20%. A teenager is suing the Australian government to overturn a social media ban for minors under 16, set to take effect on December 10. Noah Jones, 15, is a co-plaintiff in a high court case against government communications officials. He said that the ban on platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat could make the internet more dangerous for young people by isolating teens and pushing them toward riskier behavior. The lawsuit, backed by advocacy group Digital Freedom, argued that the ban violates constitutional rights and should be replaced with targeted measures against cyberbullying and predatory behavior. 2 land transport buildings allegedly overpriced were built by SunWest Corporation, a contractor linked to former Ako Bicol Representative Zaldico. Land Transportation Office Chief Assistant Secretary Marcos Lacanilao told BNC's The Spokes that the completed buildings reportedly cost about 400,000 pesos per square meter. Lacanilao said,
nung pag-upo namin, sir, na-discover ko merong infra na 2 building sa LTO. Ano po ito? Ginawa po itong noong 2021, pero natapos po ito ng 2024. Magugulat kayo, 3-story building, walang elevator, hindi kasama ang lote, almost 500 million each. 2 po yan.
This is building?
Building, sir. Infra.
Hindi ba tapos?
Tapos na, sir.
Tapos na.
Pero, sir, pumapatak na almost 400,000 per square meter.
Tinayo nila?
Tinayo nila. Ganong katindi.
Sino ang contractor?
SunWest.
SunWest?
Oo. Tapos may ka-joint venture siya na LLDL, if I'm not mistaken. Oo.
So,
hindi po ito pondo ng DOTR. Mga insertion niya yan.
Lacanilao said that the construction began in 2021 during former President Rodrigo Duterte's administration and was completed in 2024. He also noted that Assistant Secretary Edgar Galvante served as LTO chief during that period. Bitcoin and crypto-linked companies extended a nearly 2-month decline Monday following a broader sell-off in tech stocks. Bitcoin fell 5.6%, settling just above $85,000, down roughly 33% from its record high of $126,000 in early October. American Bitcoin declined 15.6%, bringing losses to nearly 47% since late September. Investors withdrew $3.6 billion from spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds in November. Bitcoin futures have dropped nearly 24% over the past month, while gold futures have risen almost 7%. A former Bureau of Internal Revenue commissioner is calling for stronger controls on the issuance of letters of authority and closer monitoring of tax audits. The call comes after all BIR field audits were suspended amid complaints that LOAs were being used for extortion. On Bilyonaryo News Channel's On Point, Attorney Kim Henares said audits are necessary to ensure taxes are paid correctly, but warned that lax regulations have allowed abuse.
The authority to issue letter of authority was no longer subject to approval by the higher up, by the Deputy Commissioner for Operation and by the Commissioner. And basically, they have given the regional director and the revenue district officer the authority to issue whatever letter of authority they have. And they did not set policies. In my time, we set policies like when you can do an audit. 6 months before I left the office, I have a issuance where I said you can only audit a taxpayer for 2 consecutive years.
Right.
If you want to audit them, then a third year you have to say there's a fraud, or your assessment should be for a significant amount. Otherwise, you have to explain why are you auditing the same taxpayer again for the third time.
Right.
Which I think after I left, they did not implement.
Henares also urged taxpayers to file complaints if they feel harassed.
I always tell people, if you're certain that you pay the right taxes, you should protest and then be willing to go all the way to the Court of Tax Appeal. Don't give in. Second, you can go to I think you can complain to the Department of Finance. Third, you can go to the Ombudsman. No? And I'd like to also point out that there's a law that says, let's say it's a bribery ito, di ba? So you gave a bribe to the government official. There's a law that said if you complain and you file a case of bribery is filed against a government official and you give evidence, you're immune from the bribery suit. Eh? I don't know whether people are aware of that.
Okay.
Chocolate artworks by France's top pastry chefs have sold for over 100,000 euros at a charity auction in Paris Monday. The event, organized by Chef Pierre Hermé, showcased sweet creations including a chocolate clock, white chocolate roses, and a monumental piece made of 495 chocolate eggs and Daum Crystal. The auction raised 108,100 euros for children hospitalized with leukemia and featured works by 25 renowned chefs. Many pieces came with private lessons or tasting sessions. Despite the appetizing look, the chefs created the desserts to be displayed as visual masterpieces. We're taking another short break. Up next, a quick look at how Philippine shares closed today. That and more when Business Brief returns. Stay with us. Asian shares mostly rose today after U.S. stocks gave back some of last week's gains amid rising global bond yields. Hong Kong's Hang Seng and China's Shanghai Composite are in the red, while major indices in Japan, South Korea, and Singapore and Australia climbs. The U.S. dollar is flat against the Hong Kong and Singapore dollars, the South Korean won, and the Thai baht. It rises against the Japanese yen, while the Australian dollar strengthens against the greenback. Gold falls 0.4%, and oil prices showed mixed movements. In cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin rises nearly 2% and Ethereum gains 0.4%. Philippine shares rise in the second trading day of the week. The PSEI ended nearly 0.1% higher to 59.94. Majority of the sectoral indices were in the red, with mining and oil falling the most at more than 1%. Advancers narrowly outpaced decliners 97 to 95, with value turnover at 5.5 billion pesos. The day's most active stocks were mixed, with ICTSI rising the most at more than 3%. Ayala Land fell the most at nearly 2%. And on currencies, the peso is currently trading at 58.41 against the US dollar, up from the previous close of 58.49. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has proposed cutting the UN core budget by $577 million for 2026 and reducing more than 18% of staff to boost efficiency amid a growing cash shortfall. Guterres said arrears, largely from the United States, have pushed total unpaid contributions to $1.586 billion, straining the organization's operations. He noted that liquidity remains fragile and launched a reform task force, UN 80, to cut costs and improve efficiency as the UN marks its both anniversary. Warner Brothers Discovery has received the second round of bids for a potential sale, including a mostly cash offer from Netflix. Sources said bankers for Paramount, Skydance, Comcast, and Netflix have been working on improved offers for all or part of the company, following preliminary bids that were earlier rejected by Warner Brothers Discovery's board. Any deal could further consolidate the media industry as the studio prepares to split its streaming and cable businesses into separate units next year. Starbucks has agreed to pay $38.9 million to settle claims that it violated New York City's law requiring predictable work schedules for employees. The settlement, the largest in the city's history for a worker protection law, covers more than 15,000 workers and includes $3.4 million in penalties and costs. Starbucks said that it supports the law's intent, but noted that even minor schedule adjustments can be considered violations, making compliance challenging. And that's a wrap for today's Business Brief. I'm Robert Tan. Join us again tomorrow as we bring you the stories that help you plan your next big, bold moves in business, only here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.